History is usually introduced as progress, civilizations rising, ideas spreading, humanity moving forward. But what if that version of history is incomplete? What if the world you live in was not built by wisdom, but by silence? What if the most important events were not the victories, but the things no one was allowed to talk about? Why do entire civilizations disappear from textbooks? Why do some atrocities become footnotes? Why are certain names remembered as heroes, while the cost of their power is buried? History is written by survivors, but it is shaped by victims. And the darkest parts are not the battles you were taught, they are the decisions made quietly, behind closed doors, with no witnesses. This is not the history of glory. This is the history of what was necessary and what was ignored. For most of human history, power was not abstract. It was physical, visible, immediate. Kings ruled by proximity. Empires ruled by fear. Religion ruled by obedience. There were no universal laws, no human rights, no global memory. Information moved slowly, if at all. Control depended on preventing stories from spreading. History was never neutral, it was curated. Entire populations lived and died without records. Mass suffering became routine. Cruelty was not an exception, it was a tool. The darker side of history is not hidden because it is rare, it is hidden because it was common. In ancient empires, violence was not chaos, it was administration. Assyrian reliefs show kings standing over piles of severed heads, not as warning, as documentation. Public executions were entertainment. Mass deportations were policy. Entire cities were emptied and relocated. Families separated permanently. Cultures dissolved without names. To rule was to intimidate. To hesitate was to invite rebellion. Fear created order. Order created stability. And stability justified brutality. Children grew up watching punishment. They learned obedience before language. This was not a collapse of morality. It was a system. Violence became routine because it worked. Empires expanded rapidly. Resistance decreased. Reputation traveled faster than armies. But something else happened. Rulers became isolated, surrounded by fear, not loyalty. Decisions grew colder, and cruelty escalated. Slavery was not simply labor, it was power engineering. From Rome to the Abbasid Caliphate, from China to the Americas, slavery was designed, maintained, and optimized. People were categorized, transported, broken, and replaced. Roman estates ran on enslaved bodies. Plantations replaced human lives as easily as tools. Some enslaved people lived their entire lives without ever being named in records. Revolts were crushed publicly, not to punish rebels, but to remind others of their place. Slavery was invisible to those who benefited from it. It became background noise. And when something becomes normal, it becomes untouchable. There were moments when slavery could have collapsed. Rebellions nearly succeeded. Economic systems strained. But power adapted. New justifications were invented. Race, religion, destiny. The system survived by changing its language. Religion unified communities. It also destroyed them. Crusades, jihads, inquisitions, purges. Not spontaneous violence, organized, justified, sanctified. The Spanish Inquisition did not hunt openly guilty criminals, it hunted suspicion. Neighbors informed on neighbors. Families denounced relatives. Confessions were extracted. Silence became survival. Entire intellectual traditions vanished. Books burned. Ideas erased. Violence committed in the name of the divine is absolute. There is no negotiation with sacred authority. Colonialism is often framed as exploration. It was extraction. Entire continents were reorganized to serve distant capitals. Indigenous systems were dismantled, languages suppressed, populations decimated by disease and forced labor. Millions died without battles, without headlines.
They died quietly, in mines, on plantations, on forced marches. Colonial records counted profits, not lives. And because no one recorded their names, they became invisible. Resources flowed outward, wealth accumulated centrally, power concentrated, distance insulated decision-makers. Suffering became abstract, and abstraction allowed repetition. The modern era did not reduce cruelty, it mechanized it. Genocides were planned with spreadsheets, transportation schedules, efficiency metrics. Killing became bureaucratic. Orders were followed by people who never saw the consequences. Distance removed guilt. The darkest moments of the modern age were not explosions, they were processes. Forms filled, trains scheduled, silence maintained. The most disturbing truth is this: at every stage, people knew. Not everyone, but enough. Neighbors noticed disappearances. Workers sensed the purpose. Officials saw the patterns. But survival required silence, and silence allowed momentum. History did not break suddenly, it slid. After atrocities end, the world moves forward. Borders are redrawn, institutions rebranded, language softened. But systems rarely disappear, they evolve. Exploitation becomes economic, violence becomes indirect, control becomes legal. The past echoes quietly, in inequality, in trauma, in missing names. The darkest side of history is not cruelty, it is acceptance. The moment suffering becomes normal, the moment silence feels safer than truth. History does not ask whether we are good or evil. It asks something simpler. How much are we willing to ignore before the darkness becomes invisible again?